Considering the first series of videos I'm making on the ethics and attitude in competitive sports, this is the most sensitive subject for sure. Sexuality in regards to performance. There has been an acceleration of the discussion of sexuality over the past decades in an exponential speed, where it became way more explicit, more open. There are more options. It is way less judged. The progressives push it to open even further. The conservatives want to protect it, preserve in that form that is oriented to family building. And we see these forces and we see this phenomenon. In the discussion of sexuality in performance and competitive sports remain very shallow. There are reasons for that. We're just not ready for that approach yet. We're not ready to use it as a society. It is an extremely powerful force. Freud said so. Many prior to him said so. Many post him said so. And it requires such a hard and serious preparation just to be capable of start using it in that sense. That's the truth. If anyone is selling you the idea that you could just do this, and that, and sexuality and through sexuality management improve your performance easily, that's an imposter. You might get some results here and there, occasionally, clouded by some luck. But management of sexuality is way further ahead in the human evolution. So there are steps to conquer before exploring that realm. In the meantime, sex is either for pleasure, for love, for procreation. Or the restraint of it for religion, for austerity, and other reasons depending on the philosophy. Even though we're not ready to face it and to use it, we can watch out to not be used by it. That's already something. Not let it influence negatively your career, your uh, results. And we do have a few examples of when that happened. That can take down someone's career. I will name just a few where it did go wrong in different ways. O.J. Simpson's case is one of the maybe, yeah, it's one iconic car chase, live on TV. But the story is the violence related to his relationship. Or I don't remember if it was wife or girlfriend at the time. We have to check. Of course, this is not a entertainment news channel. But it was something really dark that resulted in violence and death. Heavy stuff. The O.J. Simpson story. And then the trial became epic as well. Not in a good way, but it's there. It's there. It's the whole story is remarkable. He was a great champion football. But this was a bad outcome. It's might be related to other traits of his character, maybe of his genetics. But undeniably, there is some mismanagement of that sexual force. I think no one would just consciously, if had the control to do such atrocities as a violence in that level. Irving Magic Johnson, the opposite, no, always that big sincere smile, so captivating. Stylistically, I play basketball as a hobby, right? It's my favorite player ever. If I cannot do 1% of what he does, but to me he's like he is the happiness of basketball, and it shows. He's the biggest star, or one of the biggest stars in Los Angeles, in the peak of Hollywood, and LA was the city to be. And he fell into extreme promiscuity, where the ladies, these young, beautiful, gorgeous ladies, would line up at his hotel to have intercourse, sexual intercourse with him rapidly. And he would say on average would lay down with 10 women a day. That's just too much. It's too much. In between training sessions, after training sessions, before training sessions, before games, after games. Clearly, it didn't seem to bother his performance on the court, but it made him contract the HIV virus. Ended his career. The Brazilian Ronaldo, soccer player, not the Portuguese one, the Brazilian, was caught in Rio, which was another promiscuous city, maybe even more than LA. I've been to Rio a lot because uh, when I jiu-jitsu was still centered in Brazil and the main competitions were in Rio. That's almost like it's not exactly the birthplace of jiu-jitsu, but it is culturally, that's the epicenter of the jiu-jitsu before taking over the world. And I used to go to Rio for the competitions on a regular basis. I lived in the south, and I would go there to fight against athletes of all over Brazil and sometimes foreigners. Jiu-jitsu was not that globalized at the time, so we had one foreigner here and there. Still, it was already very serious, very competitive. And I won't say I miss those times, but the type of emotions I could experience there never happened again. Even in California and in Europe and in other places, I've been jiu-jitsu wise, Middle East. It's the Rio in the early 2000s was special for jiu-jitsu. And I'd say that very carefully, one or two or three times I've been to the concerts at night, to the parties, and it was another level. It was nothing like I would see in southern Brazil. It was wild, and going to the beach or anywhere, it seems that that city just breathes sex appeal. So Ronaldo was caught in Rio with a group of sex workers. There was like a transgender sex workers. They are very traditional in Rio. They've always been there, especially in the there's I think it's Copacabana, in a certain place of Copacabana where you pass by at night, and there's plenty of them. It's traditional, but someone like Ronaldo in Brazil, who could be he could be with anyone in a more healthy type of relationships, to put himself in these positions with sex workers. It means that something is just not fulfilling his sexuality in the but he needs to always look for something different, and that could be too extreme in the way that he got caught in this situation. Did it damage his reputation? No, because he's so big in what he did and what he does. But it shows a vulnerability of the human being. These are some cases of when it goes bad. Then you have a more conservative, successful examples, such as Roger Federer, who had stability and harmony in his marriage, his kids, since a young age. And you have another tennis player, Andre Agassi, who reached such a condition, but later on in his career. He had the two stages, the bad boy and the father, the family man. Curiously, both of them married professional tennis players, such as Steph Graffi, in the case of Agassi, one of the GOATs. As far as I remember, the best in that generation. And then in the Gracie family, you have an approach to sexuality since the very beginning. The Gracie family, the most iconic family in the history of martial arts. They developed jiu-jitsu, the first two pioneer brothers. They mechanically revolutionized the grappling fight. And since the beginning, they had a holistic approach, perspective, and they were always trying to enhance their nutrition, their rest, their virtues, meditation, and sexuality. You can see some. You can have glances of that, and if you study, if you read Carlos Gracie biography, and Hickson, which was the best fighter of the following two generation. Of the following generation. Hickson was son of Elio, one of the two pioneer brothers, where he make adjustments to fit into his life the sexuality first explored by his father and his uncle, and then observing the way that his father interacted with his mother and the marriage. Later on, discovering his own by meeting the girls as a teenager, getting married, having a strong support of family who apparently was important in him becoming the great fighter that he did, and sustaining that the highest level. Watching his daughters after retiring, and always observing and understanding sexuality as a force, not having a method or like any other athlete, there's no formula there, but there was awareness. In Hickson's case, there was awareness. He passed through many phases, and he was able to always open and respecting that force. As I mentioned in the beginning, we're not ready for this discussion yet. We can start to grasp here and there. From time to time, I might make a video. It's a sensitive subject, and I just warn to fake teachers, imposters, watch out. Watch out. If someone offers you a quick solution, a shortcut, in anything, but especially in this realm, sexuality and performance, because I will repeat, it requires serious preparation, and I'm talking about years, just to be capable of start to experiment in it. And it relies on so many factors, and most people will not be able to reach it, this level. Also, besides all that inner work, you're always dependent on someone else, and someone who carries and brings to the table the baggage, expectations, emotions, and so on.